So here we are today with Adrian. And Adrian, can you give us a bit of an idea about who you are, your business, and how you got involved in BNI?
Certainly, Natalie. My business is XSellerate Performance Solutions. We're a corporate training and professional development company based in Brisbane. We cover all over Australia. We're also a Brian Tracy licensee, so we provide his programs as well. My involvement with BNI, our national licensor, if you like, actually made a recommendation when we were looking at business potential opportunities and said, have a look at BNI. He actually did know Frederick Marcoux.
Yep.
So he actually knew Frederick Marcoux and suggested that I contacted him, which I did. Went along and initially I was going to go to one of the BNI groups in the city. But when I actually thought about what I wanted to do with my business and what I wanted to achieve, I didn't want to travel any more than I needed to.
Yeah.
So given that I'm about an hour out on the north side of Brisbane, I really didn't want to be sitting in peak hour traffic once a week driving into the city.
Yeah.
So I found a local BNI chapter, which was based on the north side.
Yep.
Which again met some of my business objectives and goals as far as reducing the amount of travel time that I had and trying to get more business locally to where I was.
Yeah. And what type of customers do you generally deal with? Is it more smaller businesses or corporates or business owners?
My ideal customer is a business with 30 to 200 odd staff.
Okay.
However, in the past and currently, I still deal with everything from a single operator, owner-operator, right through to large corporate businesses.
Okay, fantastic. And so when you went and visited the local Northside chapter, was there anything particular that happened at the chapter that thought, yes, you wanted to join, or were you kind of pre-sold on already speaking to Frederick and the concept of BNI?
No, certainly wasn't pre-sold, but I was very aware of the fact that networking was a great way to actually increase the amount of business that I had.
Yeah.
Subsequent to that, and we'll possibly cover that later, there was an awful lot of additional benefits that I got as well.
Yeah.
But no, it certainly wasn't pre-sold. Went along with a very open mind. Was very impressed with two things: the professionalism of the group and the fact that it did follow a very set and structured process.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, I was very impressed with the atmosphere and the camaraderie within the group.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes with the structure that BNI has, it can either really turn people off or they really love the structure, but we all kind of learn to love it because we know that by following it is when we get the best results for our business. So now I know that you've kind of gone on within your chapter to do a lot of great things within it, which we're going to talk about, but was there kind of a defining moment where you were maybe being a member for a few months and thought, hey, I really need to do something a little bit differently to get better results, or did it kind of just be a gradual progression to want for you to want to step up and do more within your chapter?
It was a gradual progression, but it was also an opportunity came up. In the early part, I was learning, and again, given that my core business is training and education and development, I was very keen to learn and acquire as much information as I could to fast track my business.
Yeah.
But I still was of a mentality which was, it's about finding potential business, not realising that BNI is about a network of salespeople that are working for you as opposed to actually potential prospects.
Yeah.
Once I came to understand that, then it became a little bit easier to say, right, now I know how I can better utilise it. And the next step after that was looking at how I got more involved, because obviously one of the processes that I really do believe in is the VCP, which is visibility, credibility and profitability.
Yeah.
I was being visible, but my credibility got a huge increase by starting to get involved in the leadership team and taking on tasks. Yeah.
And which role did you take on in the leadership team?
The first one was education coordinator.
Yeah.
And I volunteered for that. The previous member had actually left, and when I volunteered, the leadership team said, hey, people don't normally volunteer, but that's fantastic. But yeah, I saw it as a perfect fit. Again, it gave me an opportunity to show what I did from a day-to-day basis, very much fitted in. Gave me an opportunity to network, and it was certainly probably one of the best learning opportunities for me, because I had to know what I was talking about when I got up and presented to the group, which meant that I was about increasing the amount of learning that I had myself.
Yeah, exactly. And which resources did you start to draw on to kind of prepare your educational sections for each week?
About 2 years ago, I obviously went through the material that I was issued with when I first started with BNI.
Yeah.
I found an awful lot of stuff on YouTube and that various other Google searches on BNI,
yeah,
and all specific things that I was looking for in there. The old BNI website actually had some material on there, certainly nowhere near as good as it is with the latest version.
Yeah.
And sometimes putting things together myself based on what BNI had, because I realised that I couldn't really start adding my own content. I had to use BNI material because it's been tried and tested.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think also one of the benefits of your training background, people realise that you still, to be an effective trainer, you need to put a part of you in part of that training. So whilst BNI provides a certain amount of resources, for you to be able to rework them so you can present them better and people can receive them better is always a good thing as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And what would you, so I know one of the resources you used was BNI Learning.
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
And what do you think of the resources in there? And if someone was not familiar with the site, what are some of the things that they should have a look at first?
The current BNI Learning site is fantastic. Again, each role, if someone's on the leadership team, I've found that very helpful in my current role, because I can actually have a look at what people are doing,
yep,
and or what their accountabilities are within the team, but also just understanding how it all fits in together. The fact that it's online means that I can go back at any stage if I want to do a refresher or find out some more information. I can do that.
Yep.
So yeah, very easy to access 24/7. So should somebody, and this shouldn't happen, but should they be thinking it's 10 o'clock at night on the night before BNI is due, I need to do something, the material's there.
Yeah, exactly. And what other positions have you gone on to have within the leadership team?
For the current period, I've actually taken on the role of president, which was a role that obviously you nominate for, but you're also voted by your peers and also selected by the BNI director for our chapter.
Yeah.
And I was very happy to take on that role. And I think one of the reasons that I got a lot of votes towards it and got supported in that move was because I was very active in it, and I really wanted to improve the chapter. I see it as beneficial not just for BNI, but for my business, as well as the other businesses that are involved.
Yeah, you mentioned before about the VCP process, and I think a lot of people don't realise that having visibility is one thing, but by actually stepping up and getting involved, you know, the education coordinator, president's role, you actually get more visibility and more credibility, which then leads to better referrals for your business. Have you found that the more, since you've got involved more, you've got more for your own business out of it?
The more I've been involved, the more, again, credibility that comes with it. Certainly the business growth has continued to grow. So I'm probably not needing to go out and identify additional business now. I can get 90% of my business through BNI referrals through that process.
Yeah.
And yeah, extremely happy with that.
That's fantastic. One of the things I also want to touch on that you mentioned earlier was that although your ideal client is companies with 30 plus people, I know when a lot of new members come to BNI, they look around the room and say, well, my actual ideal customer isn't represented in this group. But we know that it's not who's in the room, it's who they know. So you've obviously found that the people within your chapter, even though they're not CBD Brisbane, can still help you find some of those more ideal clients.
Definitely. And again, the 20 odd members of our current group, the 20 people that they know and the 20 people that those people know, the multiplication factors are just enormous. And I'm not a volume supplier. Some of the actual members that we've got at the moment are, in which case they're looking for regular referrals, and that happens. Because they're not corporate where I am, that really doesn't affect my business, because, again, through the networks, the corporates are there. And at the moment, again, that's my ideal client, but certainly their business, and a number of my current members have used my services as well.
Yeah, exactly. So is there an advice you would give to new members just starting out, or maybe seasoned members that want to increase their results to get more from BNI?
Get involved. At the moment, we've just had our first leadership meetings with the new group. And one of the things that we've targeted is our ideal categories that we don't currently have within our chapter.
Yeah.
So for people that are out there that aren't currently part of a BNI group, if there's a chapter that's not being filled by your local area, then by all means go along, have a talk to them, because we've identified our top 10, and we're now in the process of saying if we fill these, not only can we give them an awful lot of business, but they in return will be able to help and support our business. So it's a win-win-win all the way across the board.
Yeah, and it's really the whole premise of the way the system works, which is awesome. So if any existing members wanted to get in touch with you, or any new members, or anyone that wanted to use your services, where's the best place for people to find you or get in contact with you?
They can Google our company name, which is XSellerate, XSellerate. X marks the spot. Sell, everyone sells something, and XSellerate is how we promote our business.
Wow, that's fantastic.
They're on the website, or they could email me directly at Adrian, Adrian, at XSellerate.com.au.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Adrian, and we look forward to hearing more about the successes in your chapter.
Thanks very much, Natalie. Thank you.